Hey, how's it going? What you guys up to? How you doing tonight? Welcome back, Hollywood After Dark. After Dark. God, it's Tuesday already. Like, fucking seriously. Where's the time gone, you guys? My children go back to school tomorrow. All right, they go back to school tomorrow. It's crazy. You know what I mean? It's absolutely crazy. First grade, second grade, it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong. But the cool thing, the great thing, the honestly awesome thing about them not being here, I'm going to miss them. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, I'm going to miss my children. But the great part is I have time. It's been 2.5 months, but I have time. I finally have the time. They're going to be gone. Not only do I get the opportunity to sleep in, which is great, I get the opportunity to watch more goddamn movies. I'm looking forward to that there, folks. Something out there I've been wanting to get back to for a while. I mean, like, look, last week I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. I did the patio on the first one. I need to do it on the second one because there's actually quite a bit to say about the second or the prequel to that movie. Not too sure how many of them Platinum Dunes films I want to dive into, but, you know, we'll see. But still at the same time, it's kind of hard. I don't know. It's hard to keep up with. It should be a little bit easier now. Should be a little bit easier now that the childrens are back getting an education and that I get to spend my days with the brain rot, which is nice. Because you know what? This last month, I don't know how. I don't know how it happened. I put in like 200 hours at work. It's fucking insane. You know. So I'm looking at a good payday when I get paid on Friday. Hell to the yeah. So you know what that means. I'm gonna be paying off my credit cards. That's what's gonna happen, folks. I wish I could sit there and be like, I'm gonna go back into that Arrow sale and I'm just gonna fucking go balls deep on them $25 movies. But I'm not yet. I have until the 14th. I'm going to probably pick up at least one or two more, right? I may not get everything I want, but I'm going to get one or two more, obviously. So let's take a look here at the Chizzy, at the Chatty Poo. What y'all up to there? Talking Parallax here says last. Spherical Man says next. Didn't like the opening track tonight. It was short. It was an anime-inspired song about how collecting movies isn't collecting Pokemon. You don't gotta catch them all. But you do have to find the ones you love. And then stick with the ones that you love. But we're gonna be watching a video from a person I'm not the biggest fan of, but you know, I'll give it a fair shake. Okay, if you saw the thumbnail, Heath from Serial at Midnight is a guy that I think is just a perpetual whiner. Every time I see this guy, it's always, why aren't you watching the movies? Why aren't you talking about the movies? Why I'm not seeing Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm going to go see this Kit Harington werewolf film that nobody's going to see. And he gets upset about it. And it's like, yeah, but did you take anyone with you? No, then shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I'm seriously. Oh, okay. It wasn't about the song. Well, there you go. Spherical Man here says, caught stealing was fine, not great. Not a fan of a moment that was meant to advance the plot. Let's just say refrigeration. Oh, no shit. Okay. Can finally watch VHS 285 and finish Beyond. And then Matthew's glasses break. He cries, and then there was time. I know that fucking sucks. That's Jesus Christ. RWP says, if we're going to have short theatrical releases, then I'd rather the studios reinvest into physical media. I mean, they are, but they're just doing boutique shit. I mean, the boutique shit's where it's at. You know what I mean? Like, that's literally that's just where it's at, you know? But then again, I was at, like, Walmart today. At, like, a higher volume Walmart in a different town. And I didn't see, like, any display of new 4Ks, and all of their movies are behind protective glass. You know what, like their TV box sets are covered in anti-theft devices, you know. And this is a nice area of town, by the way. This is a nice like Tacoma suburb. You know what I mean? Like the houses around there are gonna easily be in like the 600,000 to like $1 million range. And the Walmart is like, and it's a nice area Walmart. Super nice area fucking Walmart. And the Walmart is flat out. Like everything is locked up. You know, which is surprising. We got ourselves Command Unit here for 5. Thank you, buddy. Says Den of Nerds is reporting a rumor that Henry Cavill has talked with Brad Pitt about joining the 40K project. Most likely his production team for the film. I don't know about that. I mean, look, for one, Den of Nerds, you know, is a sociopath, so I have no idea. Take what he says with a grain of salt. Henry Cavill probably does need all the help he can get, but Brad Pitt's F1 was one of the highest grossing films of the year. It was one of the bigger movies of the summer, and it was one that was not based on a pre-existing IP, unless you count, you know, Formula One racing as that, you know. And right now he is shooting with David Fincher directing the sequel, I think, to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Cliff Booth movie, whatever the hell it's called, which is on streaming. Although I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix does actually go to put that one in theaters because it's Tarantino, Fincher, and Pitt. I mean, that is a guaranteed moneymaker. You know, a guaranteed moneymaker and a guaranteed view machine over there on the Netflix. I can just print the fucking money. So there's that. But no, I don't know. I mean, look, Henry Cavill needs to get some talent, some pedigree behind 40K. You know, I know like you like it, Command Unit, and that's dope. But like to get the average normie American to be like, I want to check out this Space Marine property. You know, you're going to have to like really work on it. However, I do feel like their best course of action would be doing stuff like animation ahead of time, especially art animation that's heavily aided by artificial intelligence. Because I think this is kind of where things are going in general. You know how I feel about it. Anyway, let's see here. What do we got? We got Gold Standard Todd, Jarbo Karaoke Todd. No, sorry, buddy. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to do that tonight. MCU greater than DCU. DCU has had one movie and like 2 TV shows. And the TV shows are great, and the movie was really good. But yes, I mean, still, you know, Marvel, 37 movies. How many TV shows? Right? It's like, you know, there's a lot there. Nathan here says, could we end the Steelbook exclusive? There's no reason why the Tron movies aren't available in the standard release. Here's the thing with that. They are actually available in the standard release. I was talking about it today with Garrick. And let me see if we can find the post here. Because I said the same fucking thing. Right? I said the same thing. I'm like, yeah, Tron, you know, would be great, but I don't want like the Steelbook, you know, and then he sends me, you know, because I didn't read what was said. There we go. So here we go. Standard 4K UHD artwork for Tron 1982 and Tron Legacy 2010. Pre-order TBA soon. So they've got the Tron and Tron Legacy coming to 4K in the standard. Those look like slip cases. And I'm not going to lie. Those are, I mean, at least the Tron artwork right there is fucking sexy. The Tron artwork is great. And the guy, the bad guy right here, he just recently passed away like about a week or two ago. So that really sucks. And then you've got Tron Legacy, which I really enjoyed as well. The soundtrack is goated. You know, but I don't care about Steelbook. I'm with you at that one, buddy. I don't care about Steelbook. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Spherical Man here says F1 was really good. Highly recommend, even if you're not a fan of racing cars. Yeah, I know it looks solid. Looks solid. Here we go. Okay, Command Unit here for 5. Thank you, buddy. It says 40K secret level episode performed so well it effectively secured the deal with Amazon. 40K has become wildly popular in nerd culture in recent years. I am not saying that it is not popular in nerd culture, but as we have learned, nerd culture does not necessarily mean it's going to be able to migrate over to normie culture. You know what I mean? And I think it can. Okay, I am not attacking it. I think aesthetically speaking, you've got like space marines with gigantic mechanized armor, fucking like chainsaw swords, uber gore. You know, you've got like fucking orcs, and you've got like some ghost factions and shit, right? Hyper violent, hyper satirical, very British. You know, and then so it's very much in that particular vein, which I think can work really well. But it's also wildly expensive. It's wildly expensive. So you got to watch out for that, though. But I think again, if done right, if they're done right, they could easily turn it into like the next Witcher. You know what I'm saying? Like where the show comes out and it's so popular that it just elevates everything surrounding 40K. It's entirely possible that if done correctly, Warhammer 40K could do for Amazon what they wanted Lord of the Rings of Power, and the Wheel of Time to do. You know, like it could do that if it was done properly, but I don't know. So, well, the Secret Levels episode had the hype from Space Marine 2 on its back. Space Marine 1 didn't sell like it sold okay. And I've heard Space Marine 2 is done quite well. So, you know, I do want to get it. Hey, what up, David? How you doing? Those are the European releases? Cocksucking motherfucker. Really? That was Dawn of the Discs posted that. I don't think... What? No. What? Spain only. US is Steelbook only. God fucking damn it. Fuck. All right. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you. I didn't even see that part. God damn it. Hey, David. How's it going? Trying to get your shit in order? Yeah, man. I hear you. I hear you. There's a lot of things in life. You know what I'm going to do? You know what? I'm giving myself a challenge. It's a hard one too. I am going to, because I go on my trip in 3 weeks, and my work is not happy. Well, they're okay with it, but they're giving me a hard time because it turns out I'm going to be gone for like 3 weekends, and that's, you know, like the days I work. So effectively, I'm not taking 2 weeks off. I'm taking 3 weeks off. Like of my work week. So that is like, holy shit, you know, so that's why I'm kind of okay that I worked an extra 40 hours this last month. I'm gonna have to make up for it somehow this month too. And then next month as well. I get PTO, which is nice, but at the same time, it's like, holy shit. Anyway, sorry, I'm talking about one of the things I'm going to be challenging myself on is because I really want to start trying to get myself enough of a literary library to where I can actually maybe start talking with some literary agents about showcasing the short stories I'm working on that can be then maybe sold as a package or expanded upon into something that can then be a feature film. And I got ideas. I tell you, I got an idea the other day. Driving home, 2-3 o'clock in the fucking morning, dead ass tired. You know what I'm thinking about? Helldivers 2. Because I love me some Helldivers 2. Game's been out for a week. I've already plunked in over 20 hours. Pretty much like, that's what I did all last night. I was like, maybe I'll stream. And then before I know it, it's like 1 a.m. and I'm like, God damn, I am just hell diving it up. But I had this idea for an extraction shooter story that it's a mixture of like the Hunger Games, but not in the way that you think, right? Not in the way that you think at all. But it's kind of like that survival, not horror, but like a survival extraction shooter. You know, mixed with games, obviously, but there's reasons behind everything. So, oh yeah, your cruise is next week. Nice. So yeah, I'm just trying to figure it all out, what I wanted to do. David says here, I've had a really shitty 2025, but I still have a few ideas for shows. Are you turning 50 in 2 weeks, or you're trying 50 in 2 weeks? What do I think of the new Hellraiser game? From what I saw, the trailer looked okay. I don't know anything else about it. The Xbot Jarbo, you shut your fucking filthy whore mouth, Parallax. You're turning 50, okay. Yeah. Well, happy early birthday. You know, yeah, 50 is a big one, dog. 50, that's creeping up on you right there. You know, 50 is coming up on your ass, and you're like, aw, shit. What am I gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the biggest problem with all that stuff. So, all right. For the sake of posterity, let's take a look here about Heath from Serial at Midnight. His thoughts, unscripted, mind you, right? He has to put in there that it's unscripted. I love this when he has to go, this is just an unscripted rant. Like, bitch, everything you say that I have seen is unscripted. You scripted sounds boring. Me scripted is boring. I have so much trouble doing scripted content because like there's almost no way for me to make it seem like I'm not directly reading it. Like maybe like a paragraph here, like at the most, generally a sentence or two. I can weave into the narrative to make it sound like whatever. But this guy, okay, let's just see what he's talking about here. Because what about physical media collecting is the big problem. We're not going to probably go through all of it, but we'll see the general argument.
All right, so I've been thinking about the way that I collect. Really, my thoughts about collecting are constantly changing, and they've been evolving over the course of this entire channel. Having accountability to thousands of subscribers and people that are following this channel really makes you hyper aware of what you're doing and how I'm collecting and what I'm doing with the things.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I have to just kind of dive in there. You guys know I like to buy movies. I know a lot of you like to buy movies. That's it. It's a communal factor. It's something we enjoy. It's something that we like. You know, at what point are you holding me accountable? Now, listen. If I were put up like a monthly subscription, like a Patreon tier, that's like, I'll buy the new movies that are coming out each month and then I'll review them. And this is the tier for that, right? This is like to help me get to that point, at least like, whatever, the 4Ks, the new boutique ones or whatever. And you guys are helping me do that. Then you can, I'm not doing that by the way, but like, then you can hold me accountable. But other than that, there's no accountability. And that's one of the things I really dislike about this guy is like, what do you mean there's accountability for like running your channel? Your audience holds you to account, sure. Because they subscribe, they watch, they like. By the way, you guys need to like more, please. Thank you. I love you. Kisses. But no, other than that, it's like you're the creator. It's not. It is a very much a one-sided thing unless you stream all the time and you build that community that you have. But otherwise, you can't sit there and say like there's any kind of accountability because there's not. I just find that to be so pretentious. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe it's already based upon the fact that I'm not the biggest fan of this guy, but I look at the idea of trying to make the comment that like, well, yeah, it's accountable. He's got 47,000 subs. Good for him. Congratulations. Honestly, truly. I'm not even going to besmirch that in any capacity, but there's no accountability there in the way that you're trying to make the argument about buying stuff, right? It's your money. You buy for you. You buy because you want to own it. You want to have that in your collection. There's nothing wrong with that. But now it feels like he's trying to justify it by using the accountability angle, which I don't like that. You cannot justify how you are feeling about something by trying to put that back on your audience by saying like you hold me accountable is basically saying I take no responsibility for the shit that I do, but I'm putting it on you because that's the only way I'm going to be able to make this argument. We're literally 25 seconds in and it's already just like, oh my God.
That I have. And, a couple of years ago, I started to sleeve a lot of my DVDs. I thought, well, if I have this, it's a catalog title, it's not rare, it doesn't need to be out, it doesn't need to be easily accessible for frequent views, that sort of thing. I could put them in a sleeve and just file them away, maximize my space by having those somewhere else than on my shelf. And that was one way to try to get the collection under control. And I've brought you along with me for that process, for that that journey, as it were, because it has been a journey. Because it's, it costs time and money to do all of that sleeving. And here I am, like a couple of years later, and I'm still evolving with it. I'm like,
it costs you time and money to buy everything that you're buying. If you are doing a full-time YouTube channel based around movies and you buy movies with the money that you earn, for one, are you writing off those movies as being a business expense? I guess if you're reviewing them, then you could make that argument. But if you're just like, I'm buying them because I have a collection that I want to have, that's not a valid reason to be able to write those off. But at the same time, if you're going to be sleeving your DVDs, Okay, I will admit he's got that Mario Brothers box set down there in the bottom. Motherfucker. I didn't have the money when Umbrella was talking about that. I did not have the fucking money to get that. They every once in a while pop it back up. It's like $100, but it's like so difficult to like pull the trigger on that set. I want it. I do want it. It's right down there in the corner. Is that Clueless? Does he have Clueless right there? Is that the one on top of it? I just bought that too. I love Clueless. Show it to my kids. You know, and everything else. Anyway, I'm just saying it's like that caught my attention right there. Fucking shit. All right, you're bitching about, oh, you got Mario Brothers right there, the Umbrella box. All right, the chunky boy that cost a lot of money. Fuck you.
Just have too much stuff. I have way too much stuff, but that would imply that I should slow down with the things that I want to get, right? Like stop. As you're seeing this video, I've just posted.
Hold on. I saw this one here from Fourth. Damn, I have near 2,000 DVD and Blu-rays. I haven't bought any in years except for Terrifier 1 and 2 and 3. See, I get those. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm not buying movies that I don't want. You know what I mean? I'm not buying the newest thing to have the newest thing. Okay, like for me, and I don't even care about steel books. Like there are movies that I want that I will buy, whether they are DVD or Blu-ray. I like going and I like thrifting. I really enjoy that. You find some good shit, you know, whatever. Find yourself a fun little film to watch, you know, and everything. I totally get all that. But those are movies that like speak to me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure they do for this guy too. I'm sure they absolutely do for Heath. I don't think that that's ever really in question. But you also have to like really pick your battles when you're going to do it, which is what I'm saying here when I say like, you know, some people some people just can't enjoy the process. That's what I'm talking about. The process is the hunt. The process is the search. The process is the prize when you find the one you've been looking for. Okay. And sometimes you got to pick and choose, especially if there's like, you're spending too much fucking money. And I think that's really happening here. Okay. You know, so that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Hold on, command unit here. Vertigo and Entertainment co-produce most of their films. And I think, are you talking about 40K films? Whose films? And I think Brad Pitt's company would be good for the action scenes in the 40K film. I don't know what Plan B would be able to do. I mean, as a production company, they wouldn't like, it's not like David Leitch's 87 films, I think, or 87, whatever the one it's called, because that is something that's meant to be for action filmmakers. But Plan B does a lot of stuff. Like it did Kick-Ass. It also did 12 Years a Slave. It also did The Kingsman. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and those were already done by Matthew Vaughn. All right. So the production company, we're going to watch another video about Hollywood here when this whole thing is on. But the whole thing with Hollywood and a lot of these companies, they come on in and they buy something that's already done. They don't actually produce it themselves. That's something we have to remember, but okay. All right. Anyway, back to what he's saying here.
Did an episode about Starlog where I bought a ton of, there's like 85 issues of Starlog magazine. And because I'm going for a full run of Starlog. Now, I've bought more Starlog since you saw that video, and there'll probably be a video about that soon too. I buy paperback books like crazy. Conventional wisdom would say, stop. But what I'm coming to realize where I'm at now is that people like me, and if you're watching this channel, probably people like you too, have some sort of a mental disposition, a predisposition toward collecting. It gives us order in our brain.
See, okay, I mean, he's going to go off on AD. I think he's going to talk about like being neurodivergent and maybe ADHD and OCD and things like that. And I can speak to some of that. But I just kind of want to preface it by saying, yes, as a person who likes order and likes to collect 1 through 10 or whatever the order might be, I could understand that whole thing. But at the same time, if you are consistently and constantly giving in to those machinations and those dopamine blasts in order to just get that little bit of dopamine, that little bit of completion rate, moving towards something, And you're like, he's like, I buy paperback books, I buy Starlog, I buy all this stuff. Yeah, you're probably spending very little money overall because paper books can be bought for dirt cheap. You know, like I found a leather-bound version of Agatha Christie's the first slasher story, and then there were none. I found it for $1 at a thrift store. You know what I mean? And that book is coming with me on my trip. It comes with me to work too. I just haven't had the energy to read it yet. You know, I'm just saying, it's like, yes, I get it, but that's also not an excuse. Okay, people who are, you know, let's say on the spectrum, there might be a kind of approach to that, right? But at the same time, it's like understanding where you are and understanding what it is you're attempting to do is like going to make what you're doing more meaningful. If you're just giving in to those impulses, that is a crutch. And I think I think he's trying to crush himself rather than be like, maybe I've gone too far, but it's too far to stop now, sort of thing.
Brains. Frankly, many of us are neurodivergent. A lot of us are on the ADHD, the autism spectrum. That's something that I think maybe we haven't talked about a lot in the past because it may be like, oh, we don't talk about that. But it's true. Undiagnosed or I am diagnosed. It's a fact. It's a real thing that's happening. It gives order in my brain to know, like, okay, regardless of what happens, I have all the film noir box sets on my shelf forever. You know, I'll be an old man and I'll be able to watch these film noir. I see people saying, you know, I'm buying this for my retirement collection. I have said that too. You know, what I buy now is what I will have for the rest of my life. And people will say, well, when's your collection complete? And I would say, you know, it's already complete. I have everything I could ever dream of and more. At this point, it's just, you know, gilding the lily. It's just like that extra little sauce on top, whatever I can.
So see that right there? It's I have an addiction. I'm going to use my disposition, my medically diagnosed disposition, as more or less a defense against stopping. Right? I just need to gild the lily. I need that little cherry on top. Oh, I gotta feel like I'm in a nut. You know, I get it. Right? And especially if you're window shopping online, that can fucking do it, right? That temporary, you're like, oh, look at that cart. Oh, I got a cart full of shit. Oh, yeah, click buy. Oh, click buy. You know, like we've all done it. I've done it too. The hardest part is saying no. You don't need to stop collecting. You need to understand what you're collecting. If you want to have all the film noir box sets and you've got all of it, cool. That is a completion. Right? You have to check it off your list. The problem with movies, and there are really no problems, it's just like, oh, you know, like a very good problem to have, I guess, is that there's so many of them. All right. But you have to speak to what is going to be the shit you want to watch, the stuff you want to go back to, you know? And if you want to talk about a retirement collection, for God's sakes, man, okay, by the time you retire, because him and I are around the same age, okay, I'm not saying physical media is going to go away. I want to keep mine forever. But a lot of it's going to end up being like, you know, 16K upscale resolution streamed through Disney Plus right through our fucking, you know, ocular cavity. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to get all of that shit in ways that we would never imagine. And if you look at what's going on with the Wizard of Oz down there in Vegas, it's showing you like the kind of stuff that they can do that's going to be possible. And it's really all about the delivery mechanism and everything. I love owning physical movies, man. I'm not disparaging buying shit, but it is one of those things where you got to look at why you buy. And then you got to go and ask yourself, is the juice worth the squeeze? To quote Timothy Olyphant from The Girl Next Door.
Find something else fun. But I'm evolving beyond this, and I'm going to a new place where I'm starting to realize that, one, I am not an ex-hoarder. I'm still a hoarder. I hoard. I mean, it's a mentality. This idea of like, I need to get all of this thing. I like this thing. I need to get all of this thing. Okay, here's an example. If something goes on sale at the grocery store, my grocery store will do buy one, get one free sales. Now listen, it's not a gimmick to make you buy two, because if you only buy one, you get it for half price. So there's no incentive to buy bulk of this thing. But if they have a sale on something that I really like, I will buy lots of that thing. Okay, case I'll give you a case in point. My grocery store recently had a sale on Capri Sun. Now I have, the little drink pouches, the little, faux juice pouches. I haven't had Capri Sun in 40 years probably. I mean, I was probably a child in the 80s the last time I had Capri Sun. Maybe it was in the 90s and I don't remember, but it's been a long, long time. So I bought 2 boxes, I think, of Capri Sun because it was on sale. I was like, well, I'll get two different flavors. I was, bring it home, pop that straw in, all these sense memories come back. It's 1988 again, and I'm like, what? It's tropical punch. And so I go back and buy like 6 more boxes of Capri Sun because in my brain, I like this thing. I better get this thing while I can get it before it goes away. This is just the way that my brain is wired to think. It's not something that I'm choosing to do. It's how this neurodivergent brain chooses pathways that find happiness, really.
Now, I want to say that there are therapies you can do to try to redirect that. And it seems like a lot of people, and myself included at times, because sometimes like I can't help myself. It's like I'm a type 2 diabetic. I shouldn't have candy. They got Rice Krispie treats on sale right now, the big fat bars for like $1. And it's like they're hard to not munch on while I'm at work. I look forward to days I'm off work for those damn things to like not be anywhere near me, But it's like when I'm tired and I'm just like, I'm tired from work. I've been driving for fucking 10 hours. It's like, it's a treat that I like and it's not good for me. So the key is to like think of ways to not put yourself in those positions. It's like find the thing that stops you from doing it. For me, thankfully, a lot of it is sugar content. Like I like soda. Okay. I like soda. I purposefully do not drink soda because of the sugar content. I also don't drink diet soda anymore very often because it's like empty. It's empty. It's empty, right? Nutritionally void. And so the other day, my daughters and we went to Costco and they got a hot dog and they got a Coke and, Diet Coke in there. And I took a sip just to see. And it fucking hit every sensory goddamn bell it could. And all I wanted to do was just go and fucking put my mouth underneath that faucet and just chug Diet Coke, But the key is you don't do it, right? It's not, you have to look at that. Like I'll go at work, they have a cooler full of drinks for the drivers. And inside, like, it's all Pepsi products because one of the manager's husbands works for Pepsi. So we get all sorts of shit for free. But I look at like an A&W. I love root beer. But I look at an A&W and it's like fucking 90 grams of sugar for a 12-ounce can. And I'm like, you can't do it. You just can't do it. And that's why you have to start really training your brain to really start to like go, okay, and to analyze every purchase. Yeah, Capri Suns are fucking cool. They're 8-ounce packets. You could suck. The thing is, it's not that all the sensory came back. It's that he chugged it down, in like 2 sips, 2 gulps, and he wanted more because it tasted good. That's really what a lot of that boils down to. But there are ways to deflect and to train to understand what you're looking at and then walk away. There are ways to do it, but I just don't feel like he wants to.
Having those 6 boxes of Capri Sun in my kitchen for some reason makes me feel secure. And I feel the same thing with movies and with music, with records, with comic books.
What do you think I'm drinking right now, David?
With paperback science fiction novels and hard-boiled detective fiction and action figures. I'm looking at this out of the periphery of my eye, just sitting on the floor next to me because it's all over the floor. Hey, here's something else. Just on the floor right now.
Hold on, I gotta look at that. Was that
hard-boiled detective fiction and action figures?
I want to see what
I'm
that
looking
was.
at this out of the periphery.
Okay, the Batmobile and Batman from Batman Forever. I mean, okay, I get it. I ain't gonna make fun of it.
of my
Okay. I mean,
eye, just sitting on the floor
I love Batman Forever. I do. I do. I do. I love that fucking movie.
next to me because it's all over the floor. Hey, here's something else. Just
Now this is He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Skeletor is the 80s. Okay, this is not the this isn't the Netflix one. Those were different. Okay. Yeah, Skeletor's awesome, man. Fucking, and we're getting more He-Man next year. I can't believe I'm saying that, but we are. You know, I get it. I understand. But I just also feel like this is something where he is trying to explain that he has a problem without acknowledging that he has a problem, but is then trying to negatively talk about like physical media collecting because he can't figure out the best way to like curate a collection that is going to be enough, right? It's like, I want, all Kevin Smith movies. I've got most of them. Some of them I haven't bought. Dogma 4K Steelbook this Christmas is fucking coming home with me, And like, I don't have Tusk. I don't have Red State. I don't have Yoga Hosers. I don't have Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, but I also do want Mallrats, the Arrow version of it, But HBart's got me the Clerks box set that has the quick stop and RST video, that little display, and all Clerks 1, 2, and 3 Blu-rays, and it's awesome. It's on my shelf right now. It's beautiful. I'm thankful that he got it for me. So it's like things like that, but it's like you got to also like really start to narrow it down, because otherwise you just get addicted to the idea of buying, and that is the problem. So you really have to like focus
on the floor right now.
Clerks the animated
There's something
series
about
is goated.
this accumulation, this collector. We used to call it the collector gene. When like years ago, when we first started to realize that there's a lot of people like us, we have a collector gene. We're just wired to collect. Where I'm coming to with it now is realizing that while I get the thrill of having the cartoon version, the Filmation rendition of Skeletor, in this still sealed package, or the Batmobile from Batman Forever, or all these film noir on my shelf, there will likely come a day when it becomes a burden to have those things. When the joy of having those is overshadowed by the clutter that it takes up, the space that it takes up, the mess that it creates, the inconvenience of having that thing. The joy may decline. It likely will decline. I think that's what I'm realizing in my middle age now, is that what I loved when I was younger is not necessarily what I'm going to love for the rest of my life. Now,
I'm going to disagree. I said I showed my kids Three Ninjas. Fucking awesome. They loved it. They watched it multiple times. They've wanted to watch it again with me because it's basically Karate Kid meets Home Alone meets TMNT. It's a fun 86-minute long movie from 1992. It's a blast. I showed my eldest daughter The Sandlot. And today, you know what? We went to Walmart. You know what she did? She went over and she picked up a baseball bat and she was talking about Sandlot. Okay. Like a movie that I loved that came out when I was like 11 years old, and a movie that she's watching at 7 years old, and she fucking loves it and I fucking love it. You can love this shit at any age, but it is acknowledging and understanding where that love comes from and then sharing that love with somebody else. That is how you make something like that last. If you're like, I'm getting like again, I'm going to go back down to that fucking Mario Brothers goddamn box set. Okay. Like, I want that because I want it for me, but I also want to show my kids the original Super Mario Brothers movie in 4K. Okay. We've already watched the new movie multiple times. We love the new movie. But then up here, he's got the Warriors set, and I have Warriors in 4K. And when they get older, I'll show them Warriors in 4K. I'm not too sure how much they'll like it, but I loved it. I got to watch a 35 millimeter print of that movie by myself when I was working at the theater in LA. I just got to sit there it was a buddy of mine had come over, and we watched it on the big screen, just the two of us, completely had the whole theater to ourselves. Like, that was a great time. So like I have good memories of those movies that I want to share with people. I think that's really about it. There was a Clerks sitcom live action. Wait, there was? No. Oh, no. That's right. You're right. They did a pilot episode and then it didn't go anywhere. The animated series though is goated. 6 episodes is always fucking great.
If you've seen that Starlog video, you saw how happy that stuff made me. And as I'm recording this video, I mean, I'm wearing a Fantastic Four shirt. I'm still very connected. I just bought the He-Man thing, right? I'm still very connected to.
By the way, he just bought that t-shirt too. You can tell it's brand new. If I had to guess, just looking at the shirt itself, that's a pretty, just look at the collar. Look at the material. Look at how like soft it looks. I can't tell you what it's going to cost, but I guarantee you it's something you're not getting at Walmart.
A lot of the things that I was when I was younger, but it doesn't always continue to bring me.
Wait, is he a Nepo baby? I'm just asking. I just feel like everything about him to me says Nepo baby. I don't know why. I just get that vibe. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just like reading into it too much, but like everything about him is like Nepo baby. Because at no point during any of this has he said, it's hard to afford it. You know, like it's just, oh, I bought the Skeletor thing. I bought this Batman Forever fucking set. I got a Fantastic Four shirt on. That's definitely a newer shirt. I mean, that's a pretty pristine, most likely first time he wore that shit shirt. You know, hold on here. Forrest says here, I've let go of my golden age thinking, a term coined by the Woody Allen movie Midnight in Paris, which is about nostalgia. I think again, there's a fair amount of it that is nostalgia you can love. Right? It's like I want to buy the Spawn 4K when it comes out, and not because it's a good movie, but because I like it. You know, I was actually showing my kids 6 Underground by Sneaker Pimps today. And I played for them that, and I played for them Filter, Hey Man, Nice Shot. You know, just to kind of like show from shit when I was a teenager. But I think you can do that. I think you can let this stuff go. Like you don't have to buy everything, I think is the ultimate thing I'm trying to say here. You can pick and choose. Okay. And then part of that then allows you to put something in a box for later. And if it comes up to at a good price, then you can get it. And that might make it more enjoyable. Like I still regret being at the San Diego swap meet. Fucking like, I don't know, like 04, 05, somewhere in there, maybe a little later. Walking around and I was looking for movies, right? Movies or video games. And some guy had a DVD copy of Cloak and Dagger for like $10. And I didn't buy it because $10 was a lot for me. I was only making like fucking, I think back then I was only making like $9 an hour, you know, working as a manager at the theater. So I'm like, yeah, that's like a lot, you know. And I regret not buying it because I love Cloak and Dagger. Now I have the Vinegar Syndrome 4K, which is, it got, see, this is where it's like, I bought it and then it got moved and I got to find it again. Yeah. Oh, definitely for sure. Pick and choose. Yeah. 100% Sky's an illness. Yeah. And the thing is like, what, and I don't want to sit there and like attack him. I don't want to attack. So I'm saying this was 2006, 2007, dude. I was like going to college and managing the drive-in theater. I only made $9 an hour. Now at the, at this job, I'm pulling in at least 30. So, you know, it's nicer now. Allows me to fucking go to Hawaii for 2 weeks. But anyway, okay, we'll go fucking another minute.
Joy. And so I now view like these windows, right? Well, it brings me a thrill for now. You know, those Starlog magazines that I just bought make me very happy right now. In 5 years or in 10 years, they may not make me happy anymore. And when that time comes, it's time to let those go and let them go to someone else. And that's probably why they were sold to me in the first place, is because the person who had them was no longer getting joy from them and was ready to pass them on to somebody else.
I find such a weird argument to make, right? Like I'm buying them now because they bring me joy now, but in a couple of years, they may not bring me joy. And if they don't spark joy, then I have to get rid of them because that's what Marie Kondo said. I guarantee you this is a Marie Kondo fucking thing. Okay, do you guys remember that during the pandemic, you had that Japanese lady, Marie Kondo, right? She's like the cleaning lady goes in. She's like, this sparks joy. This does not spark joy. And that would be what you would use the indicator. It was like this whole fucking thing. People were just looking for shit to do. So they just got rid of so much shit at their house because they're doing this whole Marie Kondo, you know, spark joy, not spark joy thing. And then you find out years later that she basically like retired from doing it because it destroyed her life. It fucked her up to do it like that. Like she, like her own like policy, her own program, like fucked her up, and she didn't want to do it because it didn't bring her joy. Which just goes to show you that these hacks, or this idea here that, like, yes, you buy something and it sparks joy in the moment, and if it doesn't spark joy down the road, then fine, get rid of it. But look at it through the lens of, like, again, like, what do you think is, if you watch a movie and you don't like, you buy something brand new, blind buy. And I don't think you should do blind buys. I'll do them myself sometimes, but I don't really feel like it's always the best thing. Right? Like Arrow, dropping Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the beginning. And I was getting that FOMO. I was feeling that FOMO a little bit, just a little bit. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to go watch them first. I watched them, enjoyed them enough, but not enough to where they sparked joy to buy. So I'm not going to buy them, but I got, and I did that kind of with Friday the 13th. I made the mistake. Like, it's not my favorite Jason movie, but I hear the 4K is really good. So maybe the 4K will change my mind. But I bought Jason X, okay, in 4K. And Jason X is not a good movie, but I fucking love that stupid movie. So it's like, again, spark joy. That's it's all you got to do, man, is just like enjoy what you get, and then fucking enjoy, if anything, sharing it with people. And like that's the whole fucking point. Everything this guy says, every time I talk about this guy, it's always about like what he doesn't like. And maybe that's my problem, is I only see those videos from him. But like, what gets me is the whole thing of like, movies are like a communal fucking thing, right? Like when Chris comes on, and I always love it when Chris comes on, or anyone who comes on, and we'll start talking about a movie. And it's like, we can share in that experience of like, oh shit, that was really good. Or in the case of like Chris, like he told me like that one night, like fucking, I've never seen Big Trouble in Little China. And I'm like, bitch, get your ass on fucking Hulu and watch that shit. And he did that night, and he came back and he fucking loved it. And you know what? Perp and Chris both recommended a movie called Black Death. That's I think a 2010, 2011 movie. I forget the name of the director. He's the guy who did Severance, not the show, but the movie Severance, like a dark comedy. And I watched Black Death and Severance back to back on Tubi one night, and fuck, dude, Black Death was so goddamn good. Like, if that one was one they put in 4K, I would probably get it, because that's one I'd want to watch again in higher definition. And then also something I wouldn't mind sharing with people. That's the whole point of Podio commentary to me, by the way. It's not even like, I literally am just trying to have a conversation, even if it's with myself. I'm trying to just have a conversation. I'm just trying to share what I enjoyed or didn't about a movie, and like, but try to provide enough information to where it's like you feel you get some value out of it. And hopefully you feel like you're just listening to someone shoot the shit about a flick that they enjoy. And I'm a pretty easy lay, so it's not like it's hard to get me to like a movie. I'm pretty, I have very low standards for not liking something, which is still makes people go crazy that I don't like The Last Jedi, but I have principles. Anyway, a little bit more, like maybe like another half minute.
So I am starting to view things that way, in the sense of, this is, I enjoy this for now, and when I don't enjoy it anymore, it needs to go. That's the challenging part, but I am getting better at it, because if you've been following along with my sales and my eBay listings, I mean, I'm letting a lot of things go. A lot of things. The only downside, the hindrance to that is the time that it takes for me to list all these things on eBay, to then pack. By the way, the listing of my eBay store is in the link of this video, and every video that I've ever created. The eBay listing is always in the description of the video.
Why does he have an eBay listing like and everything? It's like, if you're just buying it and then selling it, this is something that's obviously been going on for a while.
But the time that it takes to sell it, to pack it up, I mean, it takes a while. It can take an hour to list things on eBay, and then it could take 20 minutes to pack everything up. Then I got to go to the post office. I go to the post office at least 3 times a week. It's a commitment. So on a heavy week, when I've got a commentary due, or I've got an interview with somebody, or just really...
Oh yeah, I think Arrow like put out a new movie with him doing like a commentary track on it or something, right? Like, hold on, let's see here. I want to see what his thing is here. Where's the eBay? Where's the eBay? Okay, yeah, commentary. This is something I want to see too. Where's the fucking eBay? I'm not seeing the okay, let's see here. Amazon. No. Oh, there he is. There he is. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, we're just gonna come over here to this one. All right, he's a top-rated seller. He sold 1,000 items. But he doesn't have. He currently what is he? He doesn't have any. Okay, like what did he sell? Shipped fast, past 6 months, verified purchase. Okay, excellent. Past 6 months, past month. All right, 232 feedbacks. But like, what has he done? Items sold. You can't see what he's like. What? Let's just type in DVD. All right, let's see what he's got. He's got nothing on his thing right now. So he's literally, when did this video come out? This video was from premiered today. And he's talking about his eBay page, and there's literally like nothing here. All listings, right? Like, what in the fuck, bro? What is he doing? Like, what is he doing? Like, I'll tell you this though. Sony's got has got an eBay page. Showing you guys here this shopping cart. I had the stuff in here. Air Force One, like $19, new. Cliffhanger, new. The Quick and the Dead, new. Right, and these are like Sony. Maybe it's out because it's been a while. But let me see here. Cliffhanger. This listing ended. That listing ended. Okay, but like it's please rewind. This is Sony's. Here we go. Okay. Right. They've got they've sold almost 400,000 items, or 360,000. But look, you can do 15% off of 3+. So that can help out with the shipping. But $17 for fucking Quick and the Dead, right? Cliffhanger 18, The Prestige is 20. The Martian is 21. Monty Python Holy Grail brand new 4K steelbook $39.99. That's about average. You can get a bunch of shit. Look at this here. Into the Spider-Verse 4K $19. Hook 4K $18. Heat, the Ultimate Collector's Edition, $22 down $1. Alien, Karate Kid, Brightburn, Boys in the Hood. I mean, like, a lot of these are Sony movies, obviously, because it's a Sony store, but Jumanji 4K for fucking 20. Fucking Hancock. Glory, right? This one, Denzel, a fucking Best Supporting Actor Oscar. Godzilla 1998. I actually have this on 4K. I bought that collection from my coworker. Look at this Hellboy Steelbook, 4K blue. This is the 2004 version because that was Sony. Universal did Hellboy and the Golden Army, but that's a fucking sexy ass goddamn steelbook. And even though I'm not a steelbook fan, I love that artwork. $20. I don't have this one yet. Aliens, $25 down a couple bucks. All right. Venom: The Last Dance, Uncharted. I mean, look at this. This is good fucking. There's Starship Troopers, fucking $15, man. I do have the steelbook of this. It was on sale. Don't fucking judge me. Zero Dark 30, more like Zero Dark. This is shit. But Rogue One 4K, hell yeah. Thunderbolts 4K 40. See, steelbook though, again 45. Speed, Snatch, right? Night of the Living Dead. Oh, this is a pre-order. This ships at the end of the month, man. This is a Tom Savini one. I don't want the steelbook, but I do want the 4K of it. Drive steelbook. I mean, look, the Quick and the Dead. You can get the steelbook of that if you want, or just go and get the standard $20 for Unbreakable. That's all I'm talking about here. Why fuck Denzel? What did Denzel do? Okay, here we go. Okay, this is what I wanted to look at here. All right, this is the commentaries for Serial at Midnight, pop culture in analog. Okay, so find my audio commentaries on the following physical media releases with more to come. So, Killzone from MVD. Wait. He did one on Red Corner. No shit. That movie that was interesting. Joysticks. So he's doing these, I guess he's just doing these things. Hold on. Hold on. Botany Bay from Kino Lorber. I just got to see here. Hold on. Okay. This is Kino Lorber's website. All right. Okay. Here we go. Product extras. New audio commentary by Heath Holland, the host of Serial at Midnight podcast. That's it. That is the only product extra that you could get on this thing. How do you even like get involved in doing the audio commentary for a movie that came out in 1953? And you're like, you weren't even alive yet. And you're like, yeah, let me just talk about this movie. I just like this, hold on. I'm kind of curious here. Botany Bay. All right, let's see. Let's look up a trailer. Let's just see a trailer here. Video. All right, hold on. Movie. There we go. Film trailer. Okay. Oh, yeah, you got the Shutterstock, baby. Trex Productions. This is supposed to be a trailer for a movie. Okay. I just want to see the trailer for the fucking movie. There we go. Hold on. Bring back the old screen gems. What? This is just the fucking logos. What the? Look at this here. I didn't even fucking see. There we go. Okay, that's my bad there. What happened here? Hold on. Okay, that was my bad. It's Botany Bay, a movie starring Patricia Medina and Sir Cedric Hardwick. They're gonna go balls deep in ways you wouldn't expect. That's a lot of fucking people. I don't know of any of them. Oh, it was originally called something different. Is this the trailer, or is this the opening of the movie? It's like the opening of the movie. Hey, look down there. Sound recording by John Cope. I don't know why that's funny to me. It's just funny to me. Music score by Franz Waxman. That's a name. That's a good name. I like that name. Produced by Joseph Histrom. Directed by John. Okay, they're in Australia. Looks like a fucking terrier. Show me the trailer. The laws of the 18th century England were so cruel and unjust that a man could be prosecuted for the theft of a crust of bread. In consequence, the prisons became impossibly overcrowded. The solution: the deportation of many convicts to a recently discovered land halfway around the globe called New South Wales, today known as Australia. By the order of the Britannic Majesty, George III, the First Fleet sailed May 13, 1787. Its destination, Botany Bay. Its passengers, some 800 convicts selected from the prisons of all of England. It's like the movie No Escape. I wonder if that's an allegory for Australia. That's the trailer? Is that the fucking trailer? Seriously? All right. Fucking shit, dude. Yeah, let it play. Yeah, that was loud. So I turned it down. That didn't tell me anything, though. I mean, not gonna lie, I kind of thought that was kind of cool. Let's see here. Darn it. Okay, I have got to go and use the restroom. So Give me a sec. I'm going to put something on. Just to distract while I'm in the bathroom, doing the bathroom things. Okay. Let's see. Sorry. It's like, you know how it is. All right. You know what we're going to do. You know what we're going to do. Just for a hot minute. Oh, no, I can't do that. Damn it. I was going to say, let's watch William. Right, but they're doing their Alien Earth episode 5 watch party. I don't want to do that. That's not cool. So if they were just talking shit, I would be like, "Hey guys, let's do that." All right. I don't know what the fuck this is.
You watch YouTube?
All right. You know what? Fuck it. You guys are gonna watch this. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, but you watch YouTube, Ringo. Samuel L. Jackson's verdict on Wicked AI. This ought to be wicked fucking fascinating. All right,
Ringo?
Not regularly, no.
I'm scrolling my phone the other day, minding my own damn business when my thumb stops dead. My own motherfucking face in a Snow White dress. My first thought was, oh hell no, call the lawyers, shut this shit down, sue this motherfucker back to the Stone Age. Digital blackface, that's what I'm thinking. Some punk using my voice, stealing my likeness, and making me play a Disney princess? A female character? It felt like a violation. So I go to the channel. This wicked AI, I'm pissed and I'm on a mission. Looking for more ammo for my lawyers. See what other bullshit he put me in. That's when I see it. The next thumbnail. It's me in the dress, but this time, I'm holding a goddamn Oscar. Title says, I won Best Picture. The sheer audacity of this motherfucker. I had to click it. And it ain't no trailer. It's this whole Inside the Actor's Studio parody. My ghost, my digital self, is discussing the profound journey of becoming Snow White. The motherfucker's talking about his craft, his sacrifice. And just as I'm ready to write it all off, I hear a name that ain't mine. When Mandarano's script first landed on my desk, Mandarano, and it just clicked. This motherfucker didn't just make me win an Oscar. He made himself the author of my success. He created a universe where I starred in his script, and that's what won me my first real Oscar. He wasn't just making a parody of me. He was making a statement through me. This wasn't a joke at my expense. This was something else. And naturally, I had to know what that something else was. So I started digging. I find this story from 2015. About Mandarano spending 6 months in Indonesia getting conned by some phantom motherfucker. A scam that didn't just cost him money. It cost him his best friend. And after all that loss, you think the kid just goes home and takes the L? Hell no. He turns into a goddamn detective, gets a copy of the guy's passport, and actually helps the FBI catch that son of a bitch. A real-life takedown of the Hollywood con queen. This wasn't some victim. This was a man who gets his own justice. You'd think a story like that would open some doors, right? Wrong. For the next 10 years, this Mandarano, he's just another writer, pitching scripts, getting the door slammed in his face over and over. A decade of grinding, even after taking out a real-world supervillain, and still, nothing. So I go back to his channel. He didn't just make one viral trailer, he built a universe. The Mermaid, Cinderella, they weren't just sequels. They were characters. Witnesses for the hour-long courtroom drama he made, The People versus Snow White. Then, I look at the numbers. 2 million views on the trailer that got my blood boiling. And only 10,000 on the movie he bled for. And I realized, this shit, this wicked AI, it wasn't about clout, and it wasn't born from laziness. It was born from desperation. This wasn't the easy way out. It was the only door left open after 100 others got bolted shut. Think about it, Ringo. You lose your friend. You defeat a real-life monster for the FBI. You fight for the very industry that let it happen, and they ignore you. So what's left? You build your own damn movie studio, and you make my face the weapon you use to do it. My face, my voice, his words. So people ask me, is what he's doing right? And the truth is, this business was never about what's right. It was about who had the power. Hollywood had their shot with this kid for 10 years, and they blew it. He handed them a hero's journey on a silver platter, and they still told him to go fuck himself. So he took the power back, and he made me his accomplice. Now I ask you, Ringo, is it theft, or is it justice? Go.
I think we should be leaving now.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Oh shit, I got back just in time. God, they look so young. How was it? Was it any good? I mean, literally, I was in the bathroom, but I had no idea. Defucked you. I don't even know, man. I just needed something to play while I went to the restroom. That's all. That's literally about it. Oh man. I'll have to watch it later. Okay, so here's something that was sent to me yesterday. And I kind of took a little bit of a look at it, but not as much. This was a video about what no one tells you about the film industry. And this is one that talks a lot about the problems of what's going on. It was all right. Okay, cool. Thank you. The Jerry curl still looks amazing. Yeah. They look so young. It's so weird. But so this guy is talking about what's gone wrong with the industry, and let's take a look.
The image we're sold about filmmaking is genius visionaries, magic on set, the dream job, and everything that comes along with it. But here's the part they don't show you. I worked on this thing for 3 years. I'm not some yell at me. Because in reality, filmmaking isn't as glamorous as it seems. It's war, and the deeper you get into the film industry, the more that those illusions start to break. No one tells you how films really get made, or how film festivals work, or the truth behind the Oscars, or what production companies really do. I'm going to walk through some of the biggest misconceptions that I had when starting out, and what I've actually learned from navigating the system as a filmmaker. First, I'm going to start off with film festivals. Anybody can submit to Sundance and South by South.
Okay, so hold on. All right. Now, there is a lot that's going on in the industry. And I haven't watched all this video, kind of thumbed through it a little bit last night. Again, Helldivers. But as much as I love movies and I still want to tell stories and I still want to make movies and everything else like that, I think the thing to remember here is that we have to always kind of look at everything through the lens of tell the stories that you really want to tell. Like, find a way to do that and be happy with that. You know, I think there's a big problem with like the idea of like winning awards and then what that brings. All that does is maybe like open the door. Maybe. But then you've got all the pressure to do it again. And that's a lot of pressure. And I feel like if you just make movies that are just trying to tell a story and be entertaining, I think you'll be in that like that percentage of accomplished filmmakers that people really look at and they go, yeah, I like this. Because it's just fun. You don't have to overthink it. But a lot of that business, because it's an industry, it's a business thing now, and that can definitely do it. All right, let's keep going.
Southwest and get their film in if it's good, right? Festivals are put out there as though they're like a level playing field for anybody to just submit. You make a short film, you can submit it. You make a feature film, you can submit it, and your chances are the same as everybody else in getting in. And while that is mostly true, there are some things to understand about how the inner workings go in a film festival. I remember when I was just in high school making short films, and me and my friends would look at film festivals like Sundance and look at the films that were playing that year. theater and we'd go, whoa, there's a movie that's at the Sundance Film Festival that has Kevin Bacon in it. And I remember thinking, like, why is there a film in the film festival that has like a really well-known actor in it? I thought festivals were supposed to be for like independent filmmakers or even students like myself. I thought in high school I could make a short film or I could make a feature film if I could put one together and I could submit it to a film festival. But when I saw that there was a film on that level that had a well-known actor attached to it, it really made me think, like, why is a film that has a successful actor in a film festival like that? Couldn't they just go straight to the theater? Like, they already have a well-known actor in it. And that's one of the things that I've come to realize, that I've come to learn, is that film festivals are a business first and foremost. Film festivals do tend to lean toward film productions that either have some kind of name attached to it, whether it's an actor, director, producer, writer, or something of that sort, or films that have buzz ahead of premiering at that festival. They want people to be drawn to their festival. They want to have a great lineup of films. So what ends up happening a lot of times is you have an agency like WME or CAA that has connections to festival programmers, and they will say, hey, either our client, our director did this really great film that's got this actor attached that was in this movie and that movie, you should check it out. And in those cases, they get direct access to the festival programmers, the people that are actually watching the films and making the playlist of what films get accepted into the festival. While there are a lot of film festivals that are those platforms that help get the recognition for certain films, and they really do curate like really great independent unknown films that nobody has ever heard of, is sort of like a talent scout in that way. That's a much more difficult route to go through, versus if they get a film from a reputable agency or producer or something like that that comes to the festival programmer and says, hey, we've got this great project and it's got this person attached and this person who wrote this movie and this person who produced that movie, then the festival is more likely to lean into those type of films. So if someone at CAA or
Okay, so things I want to add on that. When he's talking about the Kevin Bacon thing, right? I understand that could be like, wait, why? Yeah, how did they get Kevin Bacon? The thing that I always like to tell people or remind people of is that actors like to act. That's why they get into acting. You know, like, yeah, money, fame, power, right? Unlimited blowjobs. Yeah, it's awesome. We all want that. Who doesn't want that? Okay. But at the end of the day, they want to act because that is how they put themselves out there. And if one of these smaller films that they are in like does well, you know, that they get to kind of like really chew the scenery, really play up a character, really dive into something that they wouldn't normally be able to do if they were working for a bigger studio production that has all those producers that are overseeing the dailies and everything else. And it's not as collaborative as it would be with like maybe a first-time independent director or someone else who's been, again, given kind of a blank check to do what they want. That's a big reason for that. Now, when he's talking about South by Southwest, Fantastic Fest, and all those other ones, I don't know what he's going to say. My take on those is you have to be part of that in crowd in order to get your movies in there. And that could mean a number of things, like just, you know, going to Austin, living in those parts of LA, going to where those filmmakers hang out, get to know them, work on their shit for free, whatever. You have to get yourself in on an entirely different crowd of people that will then use their online social media platforms or their websites to talk about your movie in the sense that's going to create that early buzz, and that it's going to be a midnight selection over at South by Southwest or Fantastic Fest or with some of the other ones that are out there, right? Those are the ones where, yeah, those more experimental films go and they premiere, but those are the ones that are being made by those kind of experimental filmmakers and journalists that all know each other and all prop each other up. It is exceptionally corrupt in that way, in my opinion. But again, I could be wrong. But that's my take on it. It's always kind of been, you have to be in with those people, right? Because those are the ones who can create the buzz that will get your film picked. Not so much necessarily the buzz that's coming out of the trades, if that makes any sense. It's basically like, it's not like upstairs, downstairs. It's just like people operating on a different like plane of existence within the same industry.
WME calls up a programmer and says, hey, check out this film. It gets watched with a different level of attention than, say, somebody that submits through Film Freeway. And that's something that's a bit of a misconception to the general audience. The other thing is that there are certain programs or lab systems like the Sundance Lab that's really good at nurturing new talent, finding people, but they kind of help funnel them into the festival program. A great example of this is Ryan Coogler, who came up through the Sundance Labs, and that led directly into Fruitvale Station, his first feature film that premiered at Sundance. And then he went on to direct films like Creed and Black Panther. I've personally experienced both sides of this. When I was a younger filmmaker, I would submit short films to festivals through Without a Box, which was the online forum that you would submit through. Now it's Film Freeway.
I remember
you would just
that.
submit it, you'd pay a fee, you'd wait, and you would either hear back a yes or a no. I never talked to or heard from a programmer. I would just submit online, pay a fee, and then you just wait to hear back either yes or no. But then when I made my feature film Proximity, there was more of an initiative to try to get that film into festivals in order to try to gain buzz, to get buyers to see the movie. And then suddenly it was a different world. We were able to submit directly to some programmers, not for every festival, but for some pretty decent festivals that would have been great for us if we had gotten in. But I saw a different side of this world where I had not known before that you could actually talk directly to a programmer and submit it, give it directly to them for them to watch. Almost like, here's all of the online submissions of just cold submissions, and then here's like a different pool of select ones. And there's probably even a top tier pool of like, hey, this movie has this actor, this director, they want to premiere here at our festival. So then it kind of opened my eyes to this isn't just as straightforward of a level playing field as I once thought it was. There is a little bit of a hierarchy, and if you know the right people, you could submit directly to the festival and sort of get around the cold online submission form. So the truth is,
If you know the right people, welcome to Hollywood. It's not about what you do. It's about who you know. And that has never, ever, ever changed. That has never gone away. That will never go away. You know, if you want to do some stuff that's going to get you into being part of that world, it's, you know, you got to know the right people. And there's going to be a fair amount that, you know, are also trying to do it as well. And you've also got those that are like, and so I was asking if like that Heath guy, the Serial Midnight guy, is a Nepo baby, because like he strikes me as a Nepo baby. You know what I mean? Like it kind of is like, there's a lot of that. And the thing is, Nepo babies are something that a lot of people know about, right? Like a lot of actors' kids are fucking Nepo, you know, they're all like, look at Jack Quaid. He's a Nepo baby. He acknowledges that he's a Nepo baby, but I think his work kind of speaks for itself, if I'm being honest with you. You know, I think he's carved out enough, but really it's like, yeah, it's all about who you know. It's really all about who you know. Hold on here. Zoe Quinn's. No, that never happened. Okay. Like, let's not do that. I don't want to, you know, it's been 11 years. It's fine. It doesn't need to happen. It's okay. All right.
Is that festivals are curated. You're not always on equal footing with everyone just because you paid the fee. Another one is that studios don't always produce the films that they release. You might see a film, maybe a great independent film, and you see a production logo on it and you think, oh, this company made this film. Maybe it's A24, maybe it's Lionsgate, whatever the case is, you think this is the company that paid for the movie, that financed it, that funded it, that produced it. But the reality is, especially a lot of the smaller production companies, they're actually just acquiring these films that have already been made by independent filmmakers and independent producers, and then putting their logo on it and then distributing it. In fact, a lot of the coolest indie movies that you've seen, especially the early A24 stuff, was produced and made before the studio ever got involved. So companies like A24 built their reputation early on by acquiring films that already had buzz from film festivals. So they were sort of waiting at the finish line for a finished product of something that they could then distribute. So a lot of this becomes distributors versus production companies.
Yeah, there's that as well. It's kind of like Mike Flanagan coming on to Shelby Oaks as executive producer. The movie was already shot, and he came on as an exec producer after the fact. Like, why is that? Oh, right, they want to put Mike Flanagan's name in the trailer, in the marketing, and they did. They fucking, and I'm sure he's being helpful. Don't get me wrong. I don't think Mike Flanagan is just doing it for a payday. And they've probably done some reshoots or whatever, but again, the movie was already fucking made when he came on board. And the trailer for Shelby Oaks says, from executive producer Mike Flanagan, right? Or executive produced by Mike Flanagan. So his name's already on the marketing, which is the reason why they brought him on to do that. So the question that becomes is, how much did he get paid to take on that particular role? And how much did he do when he got it? He's a busy dude. He's a busy homie. You know, I'm sure he enjoyed the movie, enjoyed what it was. But you know, they brought him in for a reason.
Big studios like Warner Brothers and Universal do both. They're production companies and distributors. Then there are some studios that are just distributors that only buy the film after it's done and they just put it out there, which costs a lot of money to market and distribute a film, but that's all that they do, and then they just reap the benefits of whatever profit the movie can make. And what's less likely to happen is the production companies that actually like package, finance, and produce the film itself. A24 does do a lot of packaging now, but a lot of its early breakout hits were independently made. One example of this is one of my favorite independent films called Operation Avalanche. It was a film that was made by Matt Johnson, and he had some success before. His film had gone to Slamdance and a couple others and had gotten him some attention from that, and he took this concept to Lionsgate and they said, cool, we like this, we would probably be involved, but we're not going to finance it. So the filmmakers had to go take out $1 million loan, go produce the movie themselves, finish it, get it into Sundance. It premiered there. Then Lionsgate said, cool, we got it from here. They gave them the $1 million, paid back their loan, and then distributed the film. But when you watch the movie, you see the Lionsgate logo and you think, oh, cool, this is a Lionsgate movie. Kind of, yes. But the filmmakers are the ones that had to take all the risk. Lionsgate just came in at the very end once they saw the proof of concept. The film was completely done, already got into Sundance Film Festival, and then Lionsgate said, okay, I think we can distribute it and make its money back. So yeah, that independent film that you saw with the big studio logo, chances are that the studio came on after the hard part was already done. All right, here's another one.
Hold on. Well, here's my question on that one, and he's entirely right. But like, if they buy it and they pay back the $1 million, so then the filmmakers can pay back the loan, did they get any more money off of it? Like, you know, like I'm sure they do, but I just feel like it's such a fucking shitty, it's like a shitty system, you know? It's kind of like, I think maybe the idea there is that maybe they don't, but they can then use that as a way to show that, you know, they can get hired on by other companies. You know, look at the guy who did, Godzilla v. Kong, right? Adam Wingard, you know, he did couple smaller films like The Guest, you know, and I think in You're Next. And then he got fucking Blair Witch, right? They brought him in for Blair Witch. And then he got Netflix's Death Note, right? And then he got fucking Godzilla, v. Kong, and then Godzilla v. Kong: The New Empire. And they're doing another Godzilla movie, I think. And then he's also doing, I think, like a fucking Thundercats project or something he's like working on next. So you could almost call that, I don't want to say failing upward. I think Wingard has put in the work and whatever, but that's the whole point, is he put in the work. You know, he made stuff and it just happened to work out well for him until he was able to get some pretty big paydays. I haven't seen the new Godzilla X Kong, so I have no idea if it's any good or not, but Godzilla v. Kong was okay. It was all right.
Big studio buys your film so that they can make it. Say, for instance, you make an awesome short film and it gets a lot of buzz and it gets attention. It gets a Vimeo staff pick, whatever. Producers are seeing it. Studios are calling you to take meetings. You're going in and pitching ideas for a bigger part of this movie. Like, you have a feature idea for this short film or whatever. Say that happens. And then say the next level of that happens where they actually go, we love this. We want to buy this and develop it. And you're thinking like, oh my gosh, this studio is going to buy this.
Overnight. Oh shit. That is one of the best documentaries ever about the rise and fall of Troy Duffy. Oh my God, man. Boondock Saints could have been so much. I love that movie though, but goddamn.
Movie, they're going to develop it, we're going to make this movie happen. That's not always the case. What might happen sometimes is that a studio might buy your script just so that they can rewrite it, or just so that they can shelve it because they have another movie idea that they're making and they don't want anything else to compete with it. This is a really difficult thing for filmmakers because when you sell something to a studio or studio agrees to it, you get an executive producer that's excited about it at a studio that's reputable, and you think, I'm going to make this movie. That is the biggest dream, because then you think you're on your way, you've got this big backing behind you, and they're going to push you forward and help you make this thing. But what happens a lot of time, and you've probably heard this term, development hell. Something gets stuck into a kind of a loop. You might have a lot of people that are trying to chime in and fix problems about something this person didn't like about this, or this executive didn't like this, or this producer didn't like that thing, and they keep tweaking it, and then they're talking to the director or the creative that sold it to the studio, and then there's a creative difference on it. That's not what their original idea was, their original idea.
It just was crazy. I mean, the producers, they didn't, I had one meeting, they wanted to have him in like Michael Jordan
Jordan shorts, we see him wearing corduroy as Superman. Like, then they said, maybe give him boots, but like on the side of a van, like with flames on it.
And so then it just kind of gets stuck into this thing where you're trying to develop it where everybody's happy and nobody ends up being happy, and it just kind of falls apart. I've seen this with short film projects where an awesome short film either got crowdfunded and it got put online and it got a lot of buzz and producers called and it got purchased by a major studio and they were going to do it, and it just got developed and then nothing ever became of it. A lot of times you'll see very promising concepts that are done as short films and they're put out there, and it's like, why isn't this made into a bigger film? Like, they need to take the risk and just make this thing, but the studio purchases it, they try to develop it, and then for whatever reason it just never comes out. Another example,
This is why AI is going to be the great leveler, right? Like, imagine you have a high concept sci-fi film that you can use artificial intelligence and AI video to make it something completely feasible. You know, something that looks amazing, something that can give the companies an absolute run for their money. You know what I mean? And then go from that. You know what I mean? It's like literally that's the whole point. That's where things are going. You know? Like that's where it's at. That's going to be the change. That's going to be the change. These movies, you know, like, look, they fucking announced the goddamn Call of Duty movie today. You know, like the Call of Duty movie is being, I think, produced through Lionsgate. No, sorry, Paramount. And Paramount also has the rights to expand Call of Duty into a universe of multiple films and TV shows. Okay, like having, slapping the Call of Duty name is the whole, I don't know. I'm just saying, it's like anything can do this, right? Channing Tatum, even earlier today, had said about the state of the industry. Streamers came in and effed up the industry a bit, for good and for bad. The studios are confused. The streamers are confused. It says, you're incentivizing me to go make a subpar movie, a B script, a programmer that isn't special. And that is true, right? But that is going to be the big thing that's going to end up being, like pushed here with this kind of stuff, right? Call of Booty was already made. Yeah, there you go. How do you all idolize people that are too ashamed to use their real names? I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I'm using my real name because I'm not a pussy. Okay. Whatever, man. Who cares? Who gives a shit?
I've seen this from a filmmaker that I knew personally who had made an independent film and he sold it to a studio to think that this studio is going to distribute it. But the truth of it was the concept and the premise of that movie was very similar to a major film that they were about to release with a big name actor. So they bought his movie just so that they could shelve it. So there was no competition or distraction from this big movie that they were trying to sell. And that's something that people don't realize and a lot of filmmakers don't know, is that studios sometimes will just buy projects just so that they can own them, not necessarily that they're going to make them.
Okay, so this is not an uncommon thing. Back in the early 90s, when the home video market exploded and Hollywood was just like, and movies were just everywhere, and Hollywood was just fucking, they're paying like $1 million, $3 million for screenplays. That's how much, that's like literally they were paying like that kind of money. And they were buying these scripts just to shelve them so no other studio could make them. That's not anything that's new. But the thing with the thing that he's not saying there, and we can look at this through the lens of, believe it or not, Sound of Freedom. Because when they shot the movie for $14 million, Disney bought the movie and then never released it. And they held on to it for 5 years. And then when Disney had the rights for renewal came back up and Disney chose to not renew the deal, those rights then went back to those producers who then sold it to Angel Studios and were able to use that absolute batshit insane marketing campaign about how, God's children aren't for sale, right? A complete fucking fabricated story that they presented as real. And it made like, $300 fucking million on a $14 million movie. And there's so much more there. I mean, oh my God, like the stuff that, like, there should be a documentary about Angel Studios. It's just like, honestly, they are the way to do it. Like, I'm not even making that up anymore. Like, if you are a smaller movie, look at how Angel Studios distributed The Sound of Freedom, especially if you did horror, and you could fucking easily make some serious fucking, success off that one. But everyone's afraid to do it. I don't know why. I don't know why they're afraid to put a QR code to pay it forward. I've always said that if, you got a big enough movie or good enough movie, if you were to have a pre-order for the home video release available as people were walking out of the cinema, you would make a lot of money right off the bat. People would absolutely buy it, like right off the bat. 3 Book Theater isn't a real name. Yeah. Do a QAnon movie? I mean, that could be something, yeah. DC Comics and Marvel do that too. What do you mean? They don't do that too. What are you talking about, Mo? Now you're just saying shit. If you're talking about the fucking pay it forward thing, they don't.
Saying that I've heard before, don't trust a green light until you're a week into shooting, because any project can fall apart at any time. This one is really the heart of this entire video, and that is that the biggest misconception is that filmmaking is glamorous. You think of what you see as filmmaking, and it's the director on set pointing off camera, looking through the viewfinder, wearing his little fancy hat with a scarf around his neck, or he's on a crane, or he's talking to somebody, he's looking through a scope, he's going like this, and it romanticizes the whole thing. Or what you see in public, what is personified as like the film industry, which is like the red carpets, the interviews, the nice lighting. But the reality is that filmmaking is war.
My film is not about Vietnam.
C'est pas au sujet du Vietnam.
It is Vietnam.
It's stress, chaos, exhaustion, politics.
Somebody arbitrarily says you got to do it in 2 days. No. That really pisses me off.
I'm serious. Hey, man, it drives me nuts. Who gives a how long a scene is?
It's not just hard work, it's fighting every day to keep the whole thing from falling apart.
It's amazing to me that Fox is the #1 studio in the country because they're all such a bunch of morons.
And what the public sees when they see behind the scene footage or B-roll clips where the actor is in their costume and makeup and they're sort of waiting in between takes. When you're on set and you're in between takes and you're waiting, it seems like it's relaxed, a great environment, you're on a studio, all this stuff looks great and amazing, but the stuff that you don't see is the fights before you get to set on the day where the producer is telling you that something just went wrong, or the studio's coming down on your shoulders because they want things a particular way and they're trying to make you change your entire plan for the day. The script is getting changed from somebody else. The producers are arguing about what the script should be. It's not fully formed.
Our script is being operated by committee, and that is not the best way to do it. It's actually the antithesis of how you should make a feature film.
Nice to have the script all tied up and locked off and ready to go before you step anywhere near, even on the first day. And that so rarely happens.
Him revealing himself didn't follow the Carthage battle, right? And then we switched it. And so now I can't wear the toga and then hack the statue into a completely different thing.
And all this stuff is going on as like an internal war that's happening where most of the people on set might not know about it, but then you even just have this stuff while you're on set.
Action, Shelley! Oh, come on. What do you mean roll video? We're killing ourselves out here and you're going to be ready.
You know, different departments fighting about who should be doing this, who should be doing that, don't touch this, don't touch that. There could be a lot of tension on set, and it really depends on like who is being the leader on set and how to sort of get everybody to work together. I love this quote from Stanley Kubrick where he says that shooting a movie is the worst milieu for creative work ever devised by man. It's a noisy physical apparatus, it is difficult to concentrate, and you have to do it from 8:30 to 6:30, 5 days a week. It's not an environment an artist would ever choose to work in. The only advantage it has is that you must do it and you can't procrastinate. This is why I appreciate Francis Ford Coppola so much, because I feel like he's one of the only big directors that is honest about what it's like to really make a film.
I remember going under my bed, on the floor under my bed, because that's what a man does, because he can't just break out crying at the reaction to Godfather 2, with things that I overheard.
You did what?
I went under the bed, in the space between the bed, just to kind of hide.
He doesn't sugarcoat it. I feel like there's a lot of filmmakers where there's sort of a story that they tell about what it was like to make a film, and they really sugarcoat it and make it feel beautiful and amazing. And while it is, at the end of the day, it is an awesome creative job, there is a real struggle and a difficulty, and it's such a crazy political landscape to try and get a film across the finish line.
What are your plans when this movie's all over? What are you going to be doing?
I shouldn't make movies anymore. Very much of it is too crazy and too just not what a man should do in his life all the time.
But when you hear filmmakers talk about it in sort of like a broad sense to make it look good in front of an audience, you don't ever want the kind of bad press, the struggles of what it was like to make a movie, because that's bad for the product. But Francis Ford Coppola really is open and honest in talking about what it's like when he's making his films.
We were in the jungle. There were too many of us. We had access to too much money, too much equipment, and little by little we went insane.
And granted, it's kind of a business decision for filmmakers and the producers around it to try to package the film and make it look like it was such a lovely experience to make it, and everybody was happy and the production ran smoothly, everything was on time and on budget, and everything went according to plan. But in reality, there was a lot of fights and struggles, behind the scenes stuff, maybe not even the actors knew, maybe stuff with the actor. Somebody drops out, somebody comes in, it was a creative difference. There was no fights or struggles with all that. This was all part of the plan. This is how movies get made. If something's bad and the script wasn't figured out, like, these were just an additional shoot, not reshoots. We weren't changing anything about the movie. These were things that were already planned before during pre-production. We were always going to go shoot those things. So that's the way that studios try to package it, and that is, unfortunately, it makes the process of filmmaking look a certain way, and the reality of what it's really like is a different story. Another one that I want to talk about is that the Oscars are more like a political campaign. You know how people always say, well, the best films rise to the top. Well, not necessarily at the Oscars. When I was younger growing up, we used to watch the Oscars on television. I always used to think that the Oscars was sort of like an award ceremony where you took all the films that came out that year and you curated them and you tried to find the best ones based on merit, based on what audiences liked, based on what critics liked, and you took the best ones and you chose those. I didn't realize that it was sort of like a political campaign. The moment that I realized that there actually is a campaigning part to the Oscars is really where I got thrown off, where you realize that in order to even be considered as a contender for Best Picture or whatever the category might be, you actually, and the studio and the producers actually have to submit your film and then petition for it. When you live in Los Angeles during the Oscar season, you have what it's called for your consideration, and you'll see billboards all over the place. They'll send screeners, like they'll send DVDs to people that are either in the industry, they're part of their Academy members so that they can watch the films and vote on their films. And it really becomes a campaign to the point where studios and production companies are paying a lot of money to push a campaign forward, the same way that like a political candidate will get funding and they'll have a lot of money behind them in order to go campaign and show people. They're doing the same thing for films, to put out billboards and to try to market. And in some cases you have films where the studio will actually spend more to try to campaign for an Oscar than they do on the film itself. This just happened recently with the independent film Nora, a beautifully made independent film, and I think the budget was around $6 million, but then the studio spent I think around $18 million for the Oscar campaign. So you had an Oscar campaign that was about 3 times the amount of the budget for the actual film. And there are a lot of independent films that go to the Oscars, and it's kind of hard to tell what the campaign cost for those were, because that's usually not a piece of information that's out there. In the case of Nora, it was a rare case because the producers had come out and said what they spent on the Oscar campaign, but it really makes you wonder, like, what other low budget independent films that had big Oscar campaigns, what kind of budgets did they spend on those campaigns? So with the Oscars,
see, that's exactly my whole point with the Oscars. Like, it's compromised, right? But when they say, see, here's, if it's just promotion, and they run these FYC, campaigns and shit, right? Like, I remember the one for Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, Best Supporting Actor, and it's all like, for your consideration, a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. It's a great campaign, to be honest with you. Heath Ledger won because Heath Ledger died, and arguably the Joker was super good. But I think had Heath Ledger not died, Robert Downey Jr. would have won for Tropic Thunder. But the thing to remember with that is that, even when I was living in LA, like you get to fucking Oscar season, and like Disney owns a billboard right there off of Hollywood Boulevard as you're coming in off of the not the 101, like the 131, I think. Anyway, might be the 101. You're coming in off of that freeway. I forget which freeway it is. The 170? I don't know. But it's been a long time. But you're coming down right by, I think, like the Hollywood Bowl and whatever. And there's a big billboard that they own, you know. And I remember when they were running the promotion for Cars 2 to win Best Animated Feature. It's like, why? Right? Why? Why the fuck did Honora spend $18 million to win? Okay. It's been like 6 months and Mikey Madsen hasn't chosen anything that I know of that's been publicly talked about. You win Best Actress, you can pick whatever the fuck you want. She was offered Star Wars, she turned it down. I think that's about it. You know, it's just like, it's a lot of the industry is just, yeah, it's just not getting great. It's like, honestly, I've thought about it, man. I've legitimately thought about it. And it's like, if I could just do like point of view found footage movies for the rest of my life, I'd be happy. If I could make enough money to like live comfortably and to do like, you know, 2-3 movies a year that are like, you know, little point of view found footage, whatever. And I could find a way to do that and then post them online and like give them away for free. I would do it. Heartbeat. I would do it. Heartbeat. I would do it. I maybe as I'm getting older, like the glitz and glamour of Hollywood doesn't do it for me anymore. I love the storytelling and I love the craft of it, right? I love the idea of it. Because yeah, being on set is not glamorous, but it's fun. It's not glamorous. You know, there's one thing, I've talked about this before when we did that Doritos commercial for the Super Bowl competition, and they put me in the trunk of a 60 some odd Plymouth for like 2 hours driving around Burbank. Illegal as hell. Funny story to tell, you know. That's what I'm talking about. Is like, it's just the movies are great. The business doesn't know what the fuck it is. But then again, the business has always been like this. So it's hard to sit there and say that even with the straight face, because it's always been like this. So then what do we do as not only fans, but people who want to tell stories, you know?
It's not always just about who is the best. Sometimes it's about who campaigned the hardest to get into that slot. And another thing, you might think, well, once you make it as a big filmmaker or producer or whatever, then you can like get around this bureaucracy and you can kind of make whatever project you want to make, right? That's what you would think. But let's take Steven Spielberg, for instance. You would think whatever he says that he wants to make a movie about, there's probably going to be some studios and producers that are just going to jump on board and do it no matter what. But that's not the case. For instance, his film Lincoln, he was trying to get made for 10 years. He fought really hard for that not to go to HBO. The studios didn't want to release it theatrically, thought maybe it was more of like a historical biopic and that they could do better releasing it on HBO. He had to fight really hard for that to be a theatrical release. And this is Steven Spielberg. Like, this is probably the top director of all time. And when you think about it, a lot of the top directors that you know of, maybe Denis Villeneuve and the projects that he made recently, are things that are pre-existing material, like Blade Runner or Dune. Christopher Nolan, you think they just make whatever projects they want, but a lot of the films that they're doing might be like one that's an original piece of concept and one that's a studio film. So they do one for the studio, one for themselves. And usually that's a pretty good balance and a trade-off. But a lot of times it will be that the studio will come to them and make something. Even thinking about some of Spielberg's latest project, you think of Ready Player One, that was based on a really critically acclaimed book. And so I think a studio was pretty on board to make a film like that. And this is kind of the thing about Spielberg. He is kind of the perfect filmmaker in that his vision naturally is what is commercial. I think what happens even when you're a successful filmmaker or producer, there still are projects that studios are keen on making. And I think it's a thing where what you desire to make has to sort of line up with what the studio has on board. It's kind of like they have a menu and like, here's some movies that we want to make. Like, are you interested in any of this kind of stuff? And if you're a filmmaker and you go, yeah, I want to do that. But if you just come to them with a completely fresh concept that's just out of left field that you came up with, even if you're a big successful filmmaker, chances are it's going to be hard for a studio to get on board. Look at Francis Ford Coppola with Megalopolis recently. He funded that entirely 100%. This is Francis Ford Coppola. You would think that he could come to any studio and go, hey, I'm Francis Ford Coppola, I want to make this movie. And they'd go, awesome, great. How much do you need? But that's not the case. And it's the same thing with Guillermo del Toro when he made Shape of Water. It's Guillermo del Toro. He wants to make this cool monster movie, this love story monster movie. You should just give him the money to do it, right? And they did, but he had to make it for a compromise. He had to do it for $20 million, which to make a movie like that with that kind of visual effects is pretty difficult. But he kind of squeezed squeeze it in between different productions that he was doing and utilize some of the stage. And he really got kind of nifty with how he put that together and how he was resourceful in creating that. And you look at somebody like Martin Scorsese, he should be able to make whatever film he wants, wherever he wants, at whatever studio. And he ended up going to Netflix with The Irishman. It was a movie that just came out straight onto a streaming platform. And there's a lot of filmmakers struggling with the idea of just going to streaming because that doesn't feel like a movie the way that it does when you go to a theatrical release. So even when you're at that level, if you're dealing with those kind of budgets, it's not always necessarily of like what film you want to make. It's like what film the system is willing to let you make if you want to go that route. You can always do like M. Night Shyamalan and kind of just go off on your own and sort of self-fund these very low independent movies again. And that is definitely a route. So even if you are at the point where you have that big name or clout or status, it doesn't necessarily guarantee you to get a film made. And I say all of this not to be cynical. I love filmmaking. This is just more of a way to get the information out that the film industry is a business and it is a little bit political. There are sort of some rules and kind of a system in place or how things are done, and that it might look a certain way from the outside. And this is sort of a little bit of an inside perspective of what it's really like. So if you guys found this information interesting or if it helped you see things more clearly, then subscribe for more honest takes on filmmaking. Comment if there's anything that you guys disagree with, things that you've noticed if you're on the inside, if you are a filmmaker, or things that you thought was true that aren't true, or things you didn't know that you might have found out through this video. Let me know.
So this was a good video. This was a good video. I mean, like the guy, Eric Demusy, you know, he's definitely like talking about a lot of everything that's problematic. Fuck, I'm out of water. Problematic with the industry. And there is a lot that is problematic, you know, and again, I feel like filmmakers, you know, the filmmakers that are like in their 30s and 40s, right? People like, you know, like me and whatever, people who've at least dreamed of it, right? Made the attempt of it. Our goal has always been, you know, yeah, go into theaters, man. Fucking go into theaters and shit. Like, let's fucking go, you know, like, let's do it. Oh, yeah. I don't care anymore. You could watch them streaming. You could watch them on your phone. I don't really care. I that's where I'm at. I would rather you watch it rather than dictate where you watch it. It would be really cool to get a movie done that does go into theaters, right? Like, you know, it'd be really cool to see that. It'd be really cool to be part of that experience. Absolutely. But I think for me personally, I would rather people just watch it. You know, just watch it. One of my favorite things is talking to people about In Search Of. Shit, that movie isn't like, it ain't great. I love it. Right? But like people who like, you know, they'll watch it on their phone. They'll watch it on whatever. And they'll be like, some people like it. Some people fucking hate it. I'm cool with both, you know, but it's fun to talk about nonetheless. And I just don't care how you see it. I think I've just moved past that point where it's like the industry itself is one that is going to hit a reckoning unlike anything else. And it has nothing to do with artificial intelligence. It has nothing to do with the budgets of these movies. It has nothing to do with the distribution models of these films. It's that the soul of I would say the soul of watching movies has changed. You know what I mean? The soul is watching it. And there's a reason why, going back to films from like 30, 40 years ago, and people are like, oh, they don't make them like they fucking used to. No, technology has changed. The way we shoot movies has changed. The way we consume movies have changed. Things have changed. Just as it did before. You know, you can't go back 100 years at the birth of Hollywood. Go back to 1933, fucking King Kong. Movie made for the Great Depression to get people fucking thinking about something else. Tickets were 35 cents a pop. You know? And people would go and watch this movie about a gigantic ape scaling the Empire State Building. And it was one of the most wonderfully magnificent things they had ever seen because they had never seen it before. Now what do we have? The only movie that pushes the boundaries of everything that people are excited to go see because of that, if anything, is Avatar. You know? No, unless you're like me and you're an Avatar fan, right? Parallax, I see you. Spherical Man, I know you're lying. And, you know, all that shit. It's the whole idea that you get, you know, like, is like, that's part of it. It's the spectacle, it's the show, but it's also like, it's also caring about the characters, giving them time to breathe and like grow with them a little bit. It's just, yeah, things have in fact changed. So, all right. So check this out. We got something new here. I just saw this. I have no idea what's going to happen here. All right. But I'm going to laugh anyway. Okay. So apparently this lady here, top music attorney, Miss Crystal is her name, is suing Suno and Udio on behalf of independent artists, producers, and songwriters. Okay. She looks like she's fun at parties. Arizona State University. So she went to Arizona State to get her law degree. Okay. Arizona State in Tempe. Okay. Nothing good comes out of Tempe, just to be honest with you.
Suno and Udio on behalf of all independent artists, songwriters, and music producers. Suno and Udio committed copyright infringement, and now they owe you money. But independent artists whose rights were trampled the most have been left without a seat at the table. That changes today.
No, it doesn't. But
I'm
okay.
suing Suno and Udio. And
Hold on, here we go. There's a disclaimer here. The information, ideas, and suggestions in this video are not intended to be legal advice. Before following any suggestions contained in this video, you should consult your personal attorney. The speaker shall not be liable or responsible for any loss or damage allegedly arising as a consequence of your use or application of any information or suggestion in this video, pursuant to the Fair Use Doctrine under the 1978 Copyright Act. A copyrighted work owned by another may be used for criticism, commentary, news reporting, and educational purposes. The use of the live stream contained in this video falls within the Fair Use Doctrine. And I'm going to be also, by the way, falling within the Fair Use Doctrine by reacting to this and giving commentary on it as well. So it's a daisy chain or a circle jerk of fair use, baby.
I have filed class action lawsuits against these companies on behalf of all independent artists, songwriters, and music producers who had their music stolen, taken without authorization or compensation. These companies have already admitted, to taking, in some instances, tens of millions of publicly available songs. And I allege the far majority of those songs belong to you, independent music creators. They did it. They've admitted it, and this was an attack on our music community's most valuable and vulnerable creators. Now, I want to be clear.
Is she gonna cry? Is she gonna cry about that? Right? Like, I don't get it. Here we go. I just want to quickly jump over to this, right? My firm, Delgado Entertainment Law, and law firm EKSM have filed class action lawsuits against AI companies Suno and Udio on behalf of independent artists, music producers, and songwriters. Let's support our efforts. Okay. So, like, why the fuck is Anthony Fantano there? Does he make music, or I know Anthony. I've met Anthony a long time ago. Does he make music, or does he just, like, you know, look like a fucking idiot? Right? But why is she here? You got to love this, okay? Like, she's here in this fucking photo, you know, and whatever. I don't know. I'm just kind of like laughing because it seems so ridiculous, to be honest with you.
I'm not anti-AI. I am anti-big corporations that raise hundreds of millions of dollars that can't be bothered to pay you for your music and instead outrageously opt for theft instead in the training of their AI. Now, as you may...
But what does it mean? What does that mean, pay? You ever notice that? I'm just kind of spitballing here, but like every time I hear about this, it's always like, well, what's the compensation? Because the AI does not recreate whole cloth anything that it's trained on. It's like a prediction model. Okay, it uses what it's been trained on as a way to kind of, you know, like figure it out. But you can't sit there and go into Suno and be like, yo, make me like a version of 9 to 5, but it's hardcore East Coast gangster rap with explicit lyrics. I mean, you could take the 9 to 5 lyrics and throw it in there. All right. And then, you know, that would then end up being something that it might get you in trouble because if the lyrics are copyrighted, but if you alter the lyrics enough, then it becomes transformative work, therefore fair use. Now, Claude is currently settled with a bunch of you know, on this class action from writers saying that it was, you know, that it had illegally downloaded their books and held it on a server. Okay, but the judge ruled that if they bought the book physically, they could then train the model on buying the book. So that's where we're going to see all this shit, right? Now, if they have a database that has all of these copyrighted materials that are being stored on their database, then that could be something 100%, right? And that would be like the idea of settling. But it's one of the reasons why OpenAI, like, who is it? Some of these companies will team up with larger companies because they can get the legal protection while they figure all this shit out. You know, so let's see.
No, the biggest record labels in the world have already filed lawsuits against Suno and Udio for copyright infringement. And I've been covering these lawsuits for the last year, analyzing the copyright issues, but also looking at this big defense that these companies have of fair use, pursuant to 17 U.S.C. Section 107. These companies are attempting to use the doctrine of fair use to shield them from liability for copyright infringement. The thing that sealed the deal for me just a few weeks ago was that the U.S. Copyright Office came out with a brand new report. Now, this was a preliminary report, but this is the Copyright and Artificial Intelligence Part 3 Generative AI Training Report that was released in May of 2025. The Copyright Office, the most influential agency in the United States as it relates to all matters concerning copyright, came out and said, you know what? When it comes to an AI company taking something expressive like music, training its AI to then create a competing product of music in the exact same marketplace is probably not fair use.
But define the marketplace. Define the marketplace. As far as I understand it, and this might be the argument that they're using, is Suno and Udio they do not produce the content, they do not distribute the content, therefore they are not publishing the content, right? So she's basically saying there that the Copyright Office is saying that, like, other people, you know, it's basically saying someone else is going to make something with the tool, but then they're responsible for what's moved. It's weird. I don't know. I want to go back and listen to that again. Hold on. That should be the thumbnail, by the way. Oops, I saw a penis. Look, that's the look.
Expressive like music, training its AI to then create a competing product of music in the exact same marketplace is probably not fair.
See, right there, exact same marketplace. Does Suno or Udio publish to Spotify, to Tidal, to Amazon Music, to YouTube Music, to Apple Podcasts, to Google Podcasts, to whatever other fucking Pandora? Does it license music to Sirius XM? Does it send out musical tracks to local radio stations that are owned by Clear Channel that operate in the greater fucking, you know, in all major cities in America? Like, what is the competing marketplace? What is it? Is it fucking Circuit City? Is it fucking Best Buy? Is it fucking Walmart? Is it fucking, you know, like, what are you talking about? Let's see. John says, been a while since I've seen anyone sue over copyright and stealing of music that's called hip hop. Hip hop is a marketplace. I don't necessarily think that that's the case, though. Not in this case. All right, Mo. Yeah, I'm just gonna wrap it up after this and one other little thing.
Fair use, and quite frankly, that's good enough for me. Suno.
But you didn't specify anything. How is it good enough for you? If it got your panties in a twist, you know, if it got you all worked up to file a class action lawsuit amidst other lawsuits that are already currently happening from these producing companies, okay, but you sit there and you don't specify, and maybe it's in your document. I might need to go through and read it. I should go through and read it. But the whole point, though, is that you're saying the same marketplace. What is the marketplace? Is it the internet? That's the thing. I think that's why I don't know. I think she's, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, right? I'm just an idiot talking in the mic, but but I listen, and I'm waiting for her to say what exactly has violated fair use. Either what has either been protected by fair use, or what has violated fair use. I'm legitimately curious if she will say in the next 1 minute and 23 seconds what she believes is one or the other. I'd like to know.
And Udio committed copyright infringement, and now they owe you money. So, after reading this 100+ page report, I called up my class action lawyer friends over at EKSM, and I proposed joining forces with my law firm, Delgado Entertainment Law, and that we file class action lawsuits on behalf of all independent music creators. I will be your lead intellectual property attorney on these class action lawsuits, and I'm honored to say that EKSM, a top-tier class action law firm, has joined the cause. The major labels are fighting for the music that they own, but independent artists whose rights were trampled the most have been left without a seat at the table, unrepresented, and without a meaningful remedy. That changes today. As part of our class action lawsuits against Suno and Udio, we're demanding damages for creators so we can give the money back to you. We're also asking for a permanent injunction against these companies ever doing anything like this again. If you think you've been harmed, you want to get paid, or you just want to join the cause, go to www.
So she said nothing. She said fucking nothing at all. In 3 minutes and 42 seconds, she said nothing. Platitudes, hyperboles, allegations without evidence, allegations without even specification. They trained, okay? Well, in what competing marketplace? I cannot believe. I'm not dude. I'm not glazing. I'm not glazing anyone. I'm asking for evidence, okay? And I hate the word glaze, okay? And I look. I am pro AI 100%. I've talked about this multiple times. I've also said regulations are necessary. But at the same time, anytime I see something like this come out and people make these allegations, I'm asking for direct fucking evidence. If you want me to back this lawsuit and say, yes, if they violated copyright law, if they violated fair use rights, if they violated all of this stuff by going through and doing what they say, cool, show me that they did it. But the reason why they're wanting to do it is because they're wanting to get in on the action. And they want to be able to take that, and they want discovery and everything else. But she still isn't giving any reason. She still isn't giving any reason as to what her belief is that they did. And all she said was that it was creating music in the same marketplace. But they don't operate in the same marketplace. They don't do that at all. So therefore, there's a little bit of a discrepancy here. That's all I'm talking about. Okay? That's all I'm talking about. But you have to sit there. And I don't care, like AI, not like AI or not. Words have meaning. Legal words have meaning. And this lady in nearly 4 minutes said nothing. Nothing. That would even remotely get any person to sit there and go like, let's do it. Like, and I'm sure there's more on the website. Okay. There's websites here, okay? So here we go. Independent artists and industry leaders Ben Jordan, Anthony Fantano, Curtis King, Venus Theory, DJ Payne 1, Cootie Fresh, Sync My Music, and Tony Justice, and almost 1,300 others stand united to defend creators' rights against unlawful AI training, okay? We stand united not against AI itself, but against corporations that have built AI systems on stolen music without consent or compensation, okay? Independent music creators are among the world's greatest innovators. They shape culture and take creative risks. Yet time and again, independent music creators are first to be exploited and last to be protected, which seems to be more of an attack on the publishers than the AI stuff. Just saying. And just one example. Okay, talking about Suno and Udio here. Suno has publicly admitted to scraping and duplicating tens of millions of publicly available songs to train its AI models. Songs that very likely belong by a far majority to independent music creators. Again, this is very speculative, Okay. All right. Like very, very speculative on this one. Not saying that that's not in there, but again, that's like very hyperbolic. As alleged in our class action lawsuits, Suno and Udio's actions were an attack on the music community's most vulnerable and valuable. They could have licensed music lawfully, as many responsible AI companies already do. We allege that they instead chose theft. Independent creators cannot claw back what was taken from them, and by their own statements, these companies exploited artists' music for the very purpose of generating competing music in the same marketplace. Okay, bam, right there. Already kind of is going to be the argument that these companies use because they're not publishers. They are not distributors. They do not operate in the same marketplace. We believe this was extreme exploitation with no justification. But you are making a very odd term here. That's kind of thing. Okay, here we go. The U.S. Copyright Office recently made clear that the unauthorized training of AI on creative works like music, which could have otherwise been licensed lawfully, does not qualify as fair use, and expressed the view that such content is certainly not fair. Yeah, but the judge for the Claude case said that they could buy the books and then train the models on the books. The thing that got them was having pirated copies of those books in a database. So there's layers to all of this, right? There's layers to everything. So you know what I mean? Like, so basically, yeah, Anthony Fantano here. This unadulterated laundering of musicians' creativity must stop. Okay. I mean, have you ever watched an Anthony Fantano video? It's kind of like that. That's all I'm saying is looking at all of this, it doesn't tell me anything. They've publicly said that they trained. Okay, but they're saying fair use. Okay, you have to argue against fair use. So what is the fair use on it? Well, the Copyright Office said that anything that's happened. Okay, well, can the Copyright Office, and I don't know if this is true or not, but if things that have happened after this ruling from the Copyright Office seems okay, fine at that point. But anything that happened beforehand, I don't know if that's going to hold or not. So ogres have layers. Same with onions and parfaits. And parfaits are the best thing on the whole damn planet. Just saying. So, all right, and then also we got this one here. Reese Witherspoon says women need to be involved in AI because it's the future of filmmaking. You can lament it all you want, but the change is here. I mean, that's very true. That's very true. You know, Reese is on it. She's been producing for a long time. Fair use is not the same thing for data input as AI. Well, again, we need to I think it depends on how they use it. But it's also the way that the AI replicates it. The AI doesn't replicate what it's trained on. It goes into it's like a fucking, like a blender. You know what I mean? So like replication, whole cloth, won't happen as far as I understand it. So anyway, so yeah, this is what Reese is saying here. Let's find the quote. Okay, Reese Witherspoon is welcoming the AI revolution in Hollywood and calling on the industry to make sure women are involved in the change. Speaking with to Glamour magazine to promote the upcoming 4th season of her Apple TV Plus show, whatever. She says she's made it a priority in her career as a producer to always be looking forward to how media is evolving and how I can help be a part of bringing women along in those emerging industries, and we're now doing it with AI. Okay. Let's see. It's so important that women are involved in AI because it will be the future of filmmaking. And you can be sad and lament all you want, but the change is here. It will never be a lack of creativity and ingenuity and actual physical manual building of things. It might diminish, but it's always going to be the highest importance of art and expression of self. Witherspoon went on to explain that she uses AI frequently in her everyday life, from search tools like Perplexity, which I use all the time, to AI shopping agent vetted AI. Like if you're buying a blender, it will show you 6 different blenders and also recommend the best product. I use AI Assistant. Simple AI is an AI assistant that can be really helpful for anyone who doesn't want to make a doctor's appointment because you don't want to sit on hold or deal with the problems of navigating hospital systems. It's an incredible tool to save time. And that's actually, honest to God, both of those things right there, super practical applications. Right? Super fucking practical applications. James Cameron, right? So Guillermo del Toro was against it, right? But James Cameron is different. And as I said, and I will stand by this, James Cameron is the person on this front that you should be following their attention, right? Now, look, Guillermo del Toro loves to get involved and do things by hand, and fuck yeah for it. Fuck yeah for it, 100%. But that's that, right? Not everyone's going to do that. Not everyone's going to want to do that. Not everyone's going to want to be a part of that. So to lament something that is actually a really interesting tool is going to end up really, I think, harming the industry going forward. And I think that a number of people out there like Reese Witherspoon that are fucking, on board with this are looking at it through probably the most practical lens possible, also through the lens of being a producer. So that's all I'm saying on that one there, is I feel like it is very much a situation where, we are going to be just having to wait and see how it all plays out. And I think that a lot of people are going to be, more on board with it as time goes on. That being said, this is a tool. It's not a fucking replacement. So that's it. That's how I think the best way to see it. Anyway, but again, this is not, this is not a glazing thing. This is just being practical. And I really wish people would think more critically about this kind of stuff, because the more you think uncritically about it and the more you just react from, emotion, I think it does more damage than it does good. And that's just me. Again, agree, disagree, it is what you want. So, yeah, it's, you have to, like, you can't just sit there and expect AI to give you everything at once. It doesn't do that, John. You know that. Like, you have to work with it. So I think, because it's 1 a.m., I got to be up at 7. So the last thing we're going to check out is the trailer for Marvel Zombies, which I haven't seen yet. So let's fucking go, right? Sick.
Let's go. Is there a virus infecting your system?
All the Avengers are dead. And they're coming for us.
All right, we got a world to save. Namor.
Shit.
Oh my god!
Whoa. That's how you do that then.
Wow.
Wow. That looks really good. That looks really cool. That all right, that looks pretty solid. I will fully admit. That looks pretty based. I definitely am going to be watching that. Although that thing premieres like the day before. You know, that's like the day before I leave on my trip. So, well, no, 2 days before. 2 days before. So that'll be good. Oh wait, hold on. I fucking missed a super chat here. From Command Unit. I'm sorry, buddy. Vertigo Entertainment is a production company behind the 40K project. They often hire other companies to produce their films. They made weapons. Yeah, that still doesn't explain to me what the. Hold on, let me look this up here. Vertigo. Oh right, isn't no because it was Vertigo. Right, that was that's the one. That Henry Cavill's wife, right? She's yeah, that's right. Dude, can you believe it's been almost 2 years since Amazon inked that deal? And then they haven't done shit yet. I mean, well, 2 years. I mean, it kind of makes sense. But all right, everybody, have yourself a good night. I'm going to go to bed, get up in the morning, take my kids to school for the first day, then enjoy my time. I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great night. It's I don't know who it was that was voicing Blade, but I don't think Mahershala Ali's going to do it. I think he's out. Sucks. 6 years, man, waiting around. Should be Wesley Snipes, so that'd be fucking based. But all right, everybody, have a good one.